Jinder Hod versus the Ark Giga. Two of the biggest and heaviest hitting creatures of their respective races, and in all honesty, of their respective games so far. Other than, well, final bosses and stuff like that. But actually, let's just get into the scaling, right? Starting off with Ark Giga, because again, scaled Ark so many times here, and considering the Ark videos, I do gotta drop Black T-Rex versus the Showa era, but we're gonna get to that later. So the Ark Giga would actually scale to the Titans, and it's the second strongest creature in Ark. But that doesn't mean it can't take down the big boy himself. Now, keep in mind, the Titans themselves would each range from the large planetary, possibly even higher if you think they scale significantly to the King Titan. And this is because the fact that the Titans were able to withstand weapons that were literally having, or black hole technologically advanced weapons, or basically black hole technology, and they were used against every other creature, and they couldn't wipe out the Titans. Keep in mind, that's the moon in the background, so this would actually put these weapons around the small planet to even dwarf star level, or at least around the planet to dwarf star level in terms of attack potency. And then you have the Dreadnoughtus, which was actually able to injure the Ice Titan, putting the Giga around the same levels as some of the smaller Ark bosses like the Dragon, Megapithecus, Dinopithecus King, and etc. Possibly only get it surpassed by, what's his name, Noontok as well, but I'll probably use him in a versus battle likely later on in the future. Or maybe I'll just add him to the Ark section because, we always add more videos to keep y'all busy. Now, as for resistances, the Giga has been able to take down the Carcharodontosaurus, which has a durability bypass. We have the elemental weaponry of the Amargasaurus, which, again, the Giga can just ignore, considering the fact that the Amargasaurus can affect things like burn, freeze, and I think poison as well. Been a while since I've actually played with it. But then you also have the mythical creatures of Ark as well, which the Giga can most certainly take down, such as the Dreadmare, which has, more spiritual or astral-based attacks because of its soul manipulation or spirit manipulation. The Power Mane, which has a much higher level of burn than likely even the Wyverns. And then, obviously, our new Groot, I should say, the Elder Claw, which actually utilizes burn and chlorokinesis manipulation to actually be able to take down its opponents. And then we have the many wyverns that the Giga can withstand, being frostburn, being burned itself, being electrocuted, poison, and even blood drain. Let's see, fire, yeah, pretty much, yeah, it has all that. So the Giga will easily get to multi-continental to around the small planet levels. Then you also have its bleed and rage boost as well, which boosts its stats, and then it has high levels of resistance. Yeah, so now let's talk about the Ice Cold Air Forces himself, Jinder Hod. So Jinder Hod, right, the biggest and strongest Leviathan till date. The second strongest creature in the game. Yes, no matter how you splice it, Arkveld is not going near him. Arkveld doesn't even bother to go near him when he's around. As a matter of fact, even if you look at the maps carefully, Gormagala actually stays where he is when Jinder Hod is out. I know, it's absolutely crazy. Now, in terms of his actual scale, we can actually scale him above a large majority of the other Leviathans, concerning his rank and positioning at the, I guess you could say, the ice food chain or the Arctic food chain. This would even put him above, or at least on par, with characters like Gammoth and Eucanlos. This will also put him above the rest of the other Leviathans, like Abyssal Lagiacrus, who is an Elder Dragon level monster, or an Elder Dragon level subspecies, I should say. This means that Lagiacrus is actually able to fight against the likes of Cadeus, Goldbeard Cateus, and Nakarkos as well. And keep in mind, the base level for Elder Dragons is around multi-continental, and they can even get to small planetary, if not large planetary, if you really want to scale them to their apexes. Keep in mind, this does come from creatures like Orish Kirin, who is a smaller mid-tier Elder Dragon, who's able to freeze the moisture in the air of the entirety of the region it's in, putting it at a multi-continental in terms of its calibers. And believe it or not, you could also get creatures of the Elder Dragon level monster class, such as Arkveld and even Gormagala to this level. This is because the Frenzy is actually able to affect and even harm creatures like Devil Joe, Rajang, and Gravios. 2 Elder Dragon level monsters, and a dominant life form, and creatures that can pretty much, dominate the area and are just below, if not on par with Elder Dragon level monsters like a Cantor and Eucanlos or Gameth. So each of these creatures each should have multi-continental to at least small planet, if not planetary levels of attack potency. Jinder Hod is no different, considering he is above the likes of Gormagala, which can infect entire regions with the Frenzy virus. So, yeah, you pretty much have that for Jinder Hod, but his hacks and abilities are something else. For starters, he's one of the best ice manipulators till date, like one of the best, of its element. And this is because he actually absorbs and expels heat from his body, especially when it comes to his ultimate, which is basically an entire ice nuke. Also, I had no idea you guys could pair this. This is not my video, by the way. This is somebody else's. But I never had any idea y'all could parry this. But again, I am not willing to try this because just look at that. Like, how did you even survive that, dude? But anyway, the fact that he actually drains the heat around the area and then explodes it is actually pretty ridiculous. He can also use his claws as well. It actually freezes claws in order to increase his attack potency and inflict Ice Blight, which actually drains your stamina. So, with that being said, let us begin. Now, what we have here are two of the biggest and strongest creatures in their respective franchises outside of the boss creatures. So much so that even the main creatures of the game, the main battlers like the Rex, Spino, Arkveld, and Gormagala, simply do not mess with them entirely. So, yeah, we got ourselves a pretty good fight here. But let's talk about it. Who takes physicality? I'm gonna say it's kind of a draw. I think Jinder Hod definitely takes durability over the Giga because it is more armored and a lot more, I guess you could say, I would probably say maybe a bit more robust than the Ark Giga as well. It seems like it does have a lot more muscularity, or a lot more, I guess you could say a lot more muscle. Well, yeah, I guess I kind of say that. A lot more muscle than the Ark Giga. But the Giga definitely takes speed, both in running and in terms of agility as well. So the Giga can definitely maneuver around Jinder Hod, but not so much that Jinder Hod is simply slow. If he wants to move, he can move. But I do think in terms of like hacks and abilities, I think it's very clear that Jinder Hod simply has it over the Giga. Now, do I think the bleed will be able to affect Jinder Hod through its, metallic armored skin and stuff like that? I think naturally it probably would be a no, but again, the Giga is still, well, can damage everything except for metal, right? So if Jinder Hod's metallic skin is actually made of like a super strong ore, then I would probably say it's definitely a no. However, if we go into the more attack potency aspect of things, then I would definitely say yes, the Giga should be able to at least crunch through some of the more fragile parts of the Jinder Hod's armor, or the more vulnerable areas of it, right? So believe it or not, yeah, the Giga does have some ways to, I guess you could say, flat out harm the likes of Jinder Hod and stuff like that. So yeah, he should be able to harm him. But in vice versa, I don't really see the Giga being able to resist Jinder Hod's ice manipulation, simply because it does mean that the Giga, the Giga can withstand the ice-based abilities of the Amargasaurus and even the whatchamacallit, who am I trying to say here? The ice Wyrens. Oh my gosh, can't believe I forgot. The ice Wyrens as well. However, I do think that Jinder Hod is just massively more powerful than either of them. Like, I think it's just kind of a no-brainer. It would be their dominant predator if we put Jinder Hod into the Ark ecosystem, which will be coming soon, by the way, with, can these monsters survive Ark, or Ark Survival Ascended and stuff like that. So, yeah, prepare for that as well. And believe it or not, I do think that Jinder Hod would definitely take it over the Giga, like, more often than not, in all honesty. And the reason why I think this would honestly happen is because of his ice nuke ability. I don't really see the Giga being able to not only get through the defenses in time, but being able to avoid this entirely. Plus, the Giga's not that much of a battle intelligent, I guess you could say the Giga's not that battle intelligent, in all honesty. And I do believe at the end of the day, I think that the Giga would be what's the word I'm looking for? I do think the Giga would ultimately be just wiped out by that nuke ability entirely. So if I really had to say who wins more often than not, I'm definitely going to have to give it to Jinder Hod at least 6 times out of 10. He has more long-range capabilities that can wear down the Giga and even go down his stamina, considering the fact that the Gigas really don't have the best stamina in the game, or at least when they're tamed, you know. But I guess a wild Giga would definitely be different, right? And believe it or not, I think Jinder Hod's many ice abilities would just simply wear down the Giga to the point where Jinder Hod can just get the final blow in. But that's gonna be all today, you guys. Be sure to comment down below, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I'll see you guys for another video. Peace.